What's up, YouTube? This is Trilla with Blerdsbgaming, and I thought we'd do something different today. So since we recently completed Chicken Police on our channel, I figured I would come on and just kind of talk about, how was it? What was the game like? And this is gonna be a review of sorts, but it's not like a traditional review. I'm not gonna be giving it a number like 1 out of 10, 9 out of 10, nothing like that. I'm just gonna talk about what the game did well, what it could probably improve on, because I do think they're actually gearing up for a sequel. And who is it for, So I'm going to break it down in parts. It's not going to be a long video. We're just going to talk very briefly about graphics, gameplay, story. Again, like I said, who is this for? And more technical stuff like length and price. So first, what is Chicken Police? Chicken Police is an adventure game. It is about a chicken who's also a police officer. He's a detective, but it's complicated. I mean, he's pretty much been stripped of his authority, and he gets sucked into this very intriguing mystery surrounding an owner of a nightclub and a singer. So she has some very interesting things going on around her, and Sonny is kind of recruited to figure out what exactly is going on. So the graphics of this game, it is beautiful. The game is actually very stunning. It's mostly black and white. It does have a few splashes of color, and I don't know what to say. Like, every frame is pretty nice. Like, it's very clear and crisp. One of the biggest challenges as a YouTuber, this is going to sound really mundane, but one of the challenges I face is that it's very hard to find thumbnails or images for thumbnails. And this game it's not that case at all. I mean, I had no problems because a lot of the steel frames were quite artistic. So besides that, though, how does it run, being as it's a beautiful game? Well, like most adventure games, it's not demanding by any stretch of imagination on any type of hardware. So I don't think anybody would have any problems running this at all. So it's a beautiful game that you could easily run. So what about the gameplay? How is the gameplay? So to reiterate, it is an adventure game, and so if you're talking about like gameplay in the sense of action, you're not going to find a lot of action here. It's mostly going to be story. I think in the whole amount of the whole game, I only saw like maybe 3 scenes that were action oriented. And they were my least favorite part of the game, unfortunately. I don't want to say the mechanics were clunky. I just will say that they weren't as responsive as I would like them to be. There was a particular scene where we were on a burning boat and it was sinking, and we had to get out of some constraints, Sonny and his partner. And there were rope constraints, and it was very reminiscent of I don't know if you guys remember, there are probably still some in the grocery stores or whatever, but there were puzzle books, and they had these mazes in them that you could draw out of. And that's kind of like the mechanic that it felt like anyway to me when we were trying to get the ropes off. Unfortunately, I saw the correct way to do it, and I tried that a couple of times, but it just wouldn't respond to me. It just acted like you couldn't actually do that. And that resulted in, the character dying several times. And it was quite frustrating because that was the correct way to go. So I don't think that the action points are its strong point. Of course, I don't think it was expected to be honest, in an adventure game. But other than that, it is basically clicking through a lot of story and a lot of dialogue. So how was the story, if that's the case, since that's going to be the main focus? For me, it's a bit of a mixed bag. I will say that the story is both good in some ways and bad in some ways. So the good points are that they do a very good job at making you care about Sonny, the main character. They do a excellent job at letting you get into his headspace. Basically, his motivations for the most part. You care about what happens to him. You hear a little bit of his, not stellar life, so I think they did a good job of letting you connect to Sonny. I Also think they did a good job with the twist. I think the twist was actually a good one. And that's kind of like, again, that's a mixed bag, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But I do think in its core, the twist was actually a good twist. But that leads to the bad. So the bad thing is that the dialogue was very wordy and unnecessary in a lot of spaces. So basically, when I'm not playing games, I'm writing, and I am an avid reader. And the whole time I just was thinking, like, cutting chunks of dialogue out of the story, because I just felt like it detracted more than it added to, you know, especially the bickering between Sonny and his partner, McChicken. So I do think they could have cut back a lot on the dialogue. I do think a lot of the dialogue was unnecessary, and not just unnecessary, but actually detrimental to the pace of the story. The other thing that was kind of not great about the story was, even though the twist was a good twist, I still maintain it's a good twist. It was something that, and if you watch all the videos, like, you'll see about 3 to 4 hours before, you know, curtains and, you know, they run the credits or whatever, I knew what the twist was. And it was just a matter of waiting for the game to catch up. So once you actually have that twist, you know, you kind of need to end it. You know, you need to be like, you know, bang, here it is. Here's the twist. And then just, you know, roll credits. It's exactly how it should be. But unfortunately, you get the twist, and then the characters kind of act like they don't know, and then you're kind of scratching your head for about 3 to 4 hours. So I do think the story was about 3 to 4 hours too long when it came to that, because they really drew that out. So if we're talking about length, how long is the actual game? So we completed here on the channel the game in about 9 hours. I think on average, though, it probably could take you less to get through the main story. So maybe like 7 to 8 hours, maybe a little less, maybe 6.5 to 8 hours, something like that would be the average. I do think you can go above 9 hours. So, you know, it could go up to like 10 hours or more. So yeah, that's about how long it would take. I would say on average, bank for about 7 to 8 hours. And because it's about 7 to 8 hours, how much does it actually cost, right? We wouldn't expect that to cost the full 60, 40, that kind of thing, dollars that a normal game would cost. And it does cost $19.99, which is a fair asking price. So I would say it's perfect around $14.99 to $19.99, so anywhere in that range. And since it meets that range, I think it's a good price. So now that we've established the technical, like technical things like length and money, who is a game actually for? Okay. So first of all, you need to ask yourself if you are open or if you like adventure games. So I call them point and click games. There's probably like a nuance between what's the difference between a point and click game and an adventure game, but to a layman gamer like myself, it's basically the same thing. So if you are somebody who doesn't mind point and click, who actually enjoys point and click, or is open to it, then first of all, this game meets your requirement. If you're a person who needs consistent action, or at least a 50-50 between action and story downtime, then this probably is not the game for you. So if you're a person who can be happy with or deal with a story-driven, very little action point and click game, then already you meet the basic requirements. If you are someone who loves 1940s Americana, I don't know if that's the right term for it, but 1940s American mystery kind of game, especially if it's noir themed, this game is made for you. So I think that because it does it very well, it does the very 1940s mystery noir dark kind of theme very, very well. So I hope this helped. And I hope this helped you decide, if you haven't already purchased Chicken Police, or if you just wanted to hear about, someone else's thoughts on Chicken Police. I hope, like I said, I hope this video finds you well. If you like the video, of course, please, show us by liking the video. It does help, along with subscribing and commenting. Let me know what you thought of Chicken Police. All right. Thank you and have a wonderful day.